hard to make friends as an adult. Anyone ever had that experience? Yeah, right? The women's comedy class is a good outlet for that. But, I have to say, though, when I've tried to make friends with straight women, I've always been afraid they'd think I was hitting on them, right? And so all of this was a dilemma for me until I discovered that the local rec center near my house had open play pickleball on Wednesday nights. Yeah, baby. Now, I realized that I may look like I was your PE teacher. Her name was probably Mrs. P. Her friends called her Sue or Karen. But I've never been a sporty lesbian. So showing up for pickleball was a true leap of faith. When I got there, I didn't even have a racket. Paddle. But a lovely woman named Caroline lent me one. And I started. Yeah, baby. Now, I quickly became obsessed with playing as often as I could. I started playing 5 or 6 times a week. And I decided to start trying to play when I traveled. So I posted in a Facebook group in my industry. Any avid picklers in here? If so, do you bring your paddle when you travel? How do you find open plays? And then a few minutes later, I got a text from a friend. I saw your post on Facebook, and I got excited because I've become fermenting or pickling vegetables recently. But I kept reading, and I got to the part about paddles and open plays. So I started thinking that you were looking for BDSM or kink play while on the road. So I started Googling pickler in a kink context. And then I discovered there was a sport called pickleball. It's a ridiculous name. It is a ridiculous sport. And, open plays are kind of like pickup games. You never quite know who's going to be there. And I discovered pretty quickly that I'm actually ageist. Because I'd show up to play and then I'd get my ass handed to me by some 80-year-olds. I'd have some swagger and then, be humbled. And the other thing I learned about open plays is that it was a good reminder that coming out of the closet, it just never stops. Sometimes I would think to myself, is it going to be okay if I wear my pride sunglasses or my nobody knows I'm a lesbian t-shirt? I'd sometimes wonder, are they going to accept me? Am I going to be welcome here? Are they going to respect my unique dinking ability? Right? But one thing about pickleball is that, prior to pickleball, every time it was Christmas, my mother-in-law would be like, you're so hard to shop for. Which I think was just a kind Midwestern way of saying, you're really fucking boring. And, I get it, because prior to pickleball, it was, me and my Netflix queue, my bong. But now that I play pickleball, my mother-in-law she has a new sense of purpose when shopping for me. I have pickleball t-shirts and socks and, travel coffee mugs, and they all say something like, peace, love, and pickleball. Or, Jesus, coffee, and pickleball. I'm kind of a big deal.
Bravo. All back.
And so it's like I finally have a theme. Right? I'm not boring. I finally have a theme. But one thing that I have realized is that as I've become an evangelist for pickleball, I talk about it everywhere I go. People are like, oh yeah, she's the pickleball lesbian, right? Talk about it everywhere I go. But every time I'm talking to, let's say, women at a neighbor's barbecue, I realize I'm not always having the desired effect. It turns out that some people, they just don't respond well when you say, hey, want a pickle? All right, thanks everyone.